Not all superheroes wears capes. Some wear wellies. Wellies.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the James Conway Experience. And we're here with an absolutely wonderful lady, Kellie Cadman. I'm very happy to say I've met her a few occasions, and a remarkable woman. She has stood up for herself and her family members all through the years with different medical issues. And herbalism is a hobby of yours, and natural remedies.
It's a hobby. I'm not qualified.
Yes.
I do this truly through. It started as a hobby and has just become lifestyle.
You're in good company, so so if you tell us where it all began. And
well, I always would have had an interest in just growing, salad and herbs and bits and pieces like that. And I always would have tried to kind of not use chemicals wherever possible, not use plastics wherever possible. So probably like 30 years ago, I would have been aware of environmental issues with like, where are these plastics going to go?
Yeah.
And one thing kind of led to another, I suppose. And I'm a chef by trade, so I, would have liked to have sourced homegrown ingredients as opposed to everything coming out of a packet, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it all intertwines, and it just becomes a way of life that if you know what you're putting into your food, into your family's personal care, hygiene, paraben free, all that kind of stuff, then you just, I don't know, it just sits well with us that we don't use chemicals wherever possible.
Yeah. No, I agree thoroughly, and it's something that everyone tries to, but it's getting harder every year to keep them out, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I mean, like, convenience has a lot to answer for, in my opinion.
Yeah.
People have lost their skill set. You would have learned how to, well, our grandparents, their generation would have grown their bit of veg, even if you lived in a town, you still would have, kept your peelings, put them on a compost heap. Some houses still would have kept a pig, chickens, things like that. People understood seasons. People understood seasonality. If something was in season, you ate it. If it wasn't, you just did without. Whereas now you can walk into a supermarket and you can pick up strawberries from the other side of the world any time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, they don't taste natural. They don't taste the same. Everything is sprayed, everything is chemical, and everything is convenience. So microwave food, people don't have time or interest in spending a couple of hours making dinner anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody is busy. 2 people in a house doing full-time jobs. Kids are in daycare. The last thing they want to do when they come in the evening is stand and cook for 2 hours. We're very lucky. We live in the country and we've always had that little bit of space around us, and we've just had that interest. So I kind of stopped working when the kids were very small. I was at home while they were at home. They always had dinner, even when they came in from school. It's just my nature.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows me, I feed them. It's just my nature.
From a chef's point, can you talk us, because we were speaking to someone yesterday as well, a little bit through this whole thing of ultra-processed food? Because, what was it, 55% she said, Darren? 55% of the food consumed now in Ireland is ultra-processed.
I would actually say it's probably more than 55%.
Okay.
Just from what you see on the supermarket shelves.
Yeah.
And what I have noticed also in the last couple of years probably is labeling has totally changed. So when you look at a packet or a jar or something and you look at the ingredients in it, because people have become a little bit more switched on to looking for, we'll say, aspartame, which a lot of children would have very adverse reactions to, they changed the name of it. So you might be looking for aspartame and you don't see it on the packet, so you think, oh, it hasn't got it. But it actually is there in just maybe 3 other formats. Also, it's kind of, I suppose, this is where the conspiracy theories come out. We are eating bugs in most foods
And
that are on the
already.
supermarket shelves,
Yeah.
and they're just going. They're not going to say there's bugs in your food when they put it on the label, are they? So they're giving you like a Latin name for a grasshopper. It's there. You just look at the products. You look at the labels. It's already there. They put it down as protein.
So this is already happening.
Oh, it's been happening for a couple of years, I believe.
That's absolutely
Yeah,
mind
I mean,
blowing.
the likes of Mr. Gates, who everybody knows about, has these super grow houses where, like, they're not going out into the wilds with a butterfly net catching bugs. These are farmed industrially on a massive scale. You know, they grow the larvae, they grow the bugs, then they kill them, grind them up, put them in your food.
So the only way you can really rule that out is as what you said, which is cooking your own fresh ingredients. You know what went into the
You
pot.
know what goes into it. And I mean, look, everybody is in a hurry. Some days you just stick something in the oven or grab something, a pizza from the freezer or whatever, you know. But wherever you can, if you've got the time, that's the only way you can be sure.
Why do you think lately there's been so many recalls of, a lot of these ready-made dinners and stuff like that? What's your opinion on it?
My opinion is that 1 or 2 processing plants look after all the supermarkets. So you may think because you shop in an elite supermarket, as opposed to a value supermarket, that your food is superior. It actually isn't. They all go through the same processing plants and they all go through the same process. And you don't know what water source is being used. You don't know who is handling the food. You don't know about the hygiene, hand hygiene. So, I mean, they're all the first things that you would check if you're checking for any bacteria outbreak. Like listeria, the one that they're listing at the moment, more than likely is coming from a water source, a contaminated water source.
Water is something very close to your heart. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Well, I've had my battles, let's say. I had to educate myself, and it's a double-edged sword because the more you know.
Yeah, the more it frightens you. Yeah.
And let's just say that living in our area, we had major problems with our water source. We're in the Lochtall catchment area. And we had a bit of a battle with Irish Water, as it was at the time, who were basically letting people use contaminated water for years with just a boil water notice continuously.
Now, when you say contaminate, what were you looking at? Because it was severe. It was
very severe.
Yeah.
So, right. There's huge controversy, there always was, as to the source of contamination, right? Cryptosporidium was what they labelled as being the main culprit, right? Cryptosporidium is a naturally occurring parasite that goes into the water source definitely 2 times in the year, and lambing season is definitely one of the times that it's most prevalent in the water, okay? Mm-hmm. The life cycle of Cryptosporidium is very complicated compared to other parasites because it has so many different parts of its cycle where the eggs are laid and it stays in your gut, and through different parts of its cycle, you can have different symptoms. Whereas with other parasites, you just have one set of symptoms and it's much easier to track and it's much easier to treat. Whereas the Cryptosporidium can keep coming back. It's that little parasite that just keeps on giving. So people were becoming very, very sick. I always felt that Irish Water should have told the people openly what the symptoms were, how to treat it. They should have worked more closely with the HSE, the EPA, all those different agencies who you would believe would have people's health at heart. But it transpires that none of those bodies can speak independently about Irish water or the water source. And especially now that it's privately owned, none of them can speak about it because they don't have the power to speak about it.
And they're worried about defamation all of a sudden.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. But even back then, if you rang the county council or the HSE or any of those numbers and asked if you wanted to report something about the water or get any information about the water, like TCMs in the water, the levels of those are...
What's a TCM? Just for anyone listening there.
So I can never pronounce the word. It's a tricholate or something like that. I can never pronounce it. It basically is a chemical reaction that takes place because of the chemicals that they have added
to the water
to clean the water. So those levels are, and they are well known for being carcinogenic and having major health implications.
There has been a European ruling on that. And actually, I'll drop the information I have on that European ruling into the show notes as well.
Well, Ireland is way, or was even back then, way above the parameters of what was legal.
Yeah, I sent off a letter or two there. Now, I'll get the details myself. I don't have them in my head at the minute. But you get the gobbledygook back. But reports have shown that they weren't testing for them as well, and that the actual test equipment was out of action in a lot of plants and this kind of stuff. So,
and those figures used to be on their website, but they are no longer on websites.
Oh, right. Well, when I went looking, and that was possibly 8 months ago, they were there then.
Were they? Good.
Now, see, but they're not recording the numbers. So
right.
The information that when the audit was carried out, the device wasn't monitoring or whatever else. All that information was there.
Okay.
The excuse they gave for our local Lochieski was that the engineer doesn't have internet access out there, or high quality internet access. So that's why they couldn't upload it.
Oh God!
It is. It's comical. It is comical.
Yeah.
You know. But
well, the health effects that come from those alone, regardless of whatever else is going on in the water, they are deadly. They are absolutely deadly. So they are.
What are you looking at? Cancers or
100% cancers. Loads of neurological issues, Alzheimer's, dementia. We met twice with Irish Water. And the head guy on the very first meeting, which, by the way, I brought a bottle of water with me and I put it down on the table in front of them, and not one of the officials would take a drink from that water.
They've done something very similar in Flint, Michigan. It was with Obama. I don't know if you see it.
That's right.
And they put a glass of water in front of him and he pretended to drink it.
Well, these wouldn't even touch it.
No.
Yeah, they didn't. We met them in Ferrick's Hotel.
Yeah.
Right.
One,
and we had lots of different politicians and councillors with us. And I was the only person not affiliated to any party. So I didn't really care what I said to them, to be honest, because I wasn't coming from, having to mind my P's and Q's with them. And that didn't really go down so well with some people, but that was the way it was. But my question has always been, why are they not telling people what is in the water? And it's scary. The head guy started to explain the whole process. He had a whiteboard out and he had diagrams, and he gave this visual image of the water comes down through the mountains. It gathers leaves, it gathers dirt and debris and excrement and everything through it. The water is brown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It goes to the holding tanks in the water treatment plants. There's 2 holding tanks with big sieves.
Yeah.
The first one, they catch all that debris and whatever else. It passes through to the next tank. And that's when they add the first coagulant, which is, he told us, aluminium dust.
Okay.
Right? It makes everything clump together and settle at the bottom of the tank.
Right.
It then moves. He would not tell us what the other coagulant was. He said he didn't have that information. Okay, so 2 coagulants are added immediately. One is aluminium dust. The other one, he wouldn't tell us what it was. Right?
Okay.
The process moves on to the next holding tank, the next part of the treatment plant. And depending on when the water is tested, they then know what they need to add to it, as in chemicals. So it could be a scoop of this, scoop of that, whatever else. And it's tailored to the area. Okay? That's where your chemical reactions take place from what they add. Chlorine, right?
Fluoride.
Fluoride is the least of our worries as to what's in the water.
I've always had a suspicion of that because do you know if you're shouting about one thing, you're ignoring everything else?
That's usually the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've I won't say I worked on water treatment plants, but I've been around them in England and that, and God above you would really wonder.
Would you drink a bottle of bleach?
No, certainly not.
Would you drink diluted bleach?
Certainly not.
Well, that's what you're drinking.
Yeah.
You smell it.
Yeah.
When you turn on the tap, you smell it. When you see those white bubbles on the top, you can see it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people can't see that.
Well, we tried the spring well thing, as much as possible, but it's very, again, what you were referring to earlier, convenience.
Yeah,
the tap
convenience.
is there, you
Yeah.
turn on the tap,
Yeah.
But from that process, the first process, you're probably talking about heavy metals introduced.
Absolutely.
You know.
And I mean, research has shown aluminium is one of the main factors for any of the neurological diseases, Alzheimer's, dementia, brain hemorrhages, strokes. It's proven. And yet every single house gets their water from the tap and uses it in some form. Even the people who don't drink the water, you still shower in it.
Yes.
It's not
Wash your
recommended.
dishes
If
in
you
it,
look
yeah,
on
yeah.
the water website, right, it is not recommended that you spend, it gives the length of time in a shower, in a hot shower. Anybody with chest conditions, anybody who's pregnant, because the vapors that come off the hot water are deadly.
And of course, because it's steam, you're ingesting all
You're
of that.
ingesting it.
God above.
Your skin. You can tell when our water treatment has been an extra scoop of this or an extra scoop of that.
Yeah.
My skin comes out in red welts.
And I've noticed as well, there is occasions where it comes out nearly like milk out of the tap,
Like a
Have you ever seen
limey,
that,
people
Darren?
always say there's lime in the water. That's not lime.
No. Have you ever seen that? When it comes out kind of a milky white out of the tap?
Yeah, and like that, exactly. We're always told, oh, they must have been working on the pipes, and that they put the lime through it then to
Yeah.
kill anything.
And you leave it
Yeah.
sit for a minute and it's cloudy and then it clears.
It's not lime. No. So where did it end up? Right, you've had the meeting, you've gotten this information. What's the next step then after that when you were working on this?
We started a petition in the area and we got over 70,000 signatures for them to build a new water treatment plant because the one that was there was not fit for purpose, we were told. So anyway, People Power took over and they did build a new treatment plant beside the existing one, but they did tell us that within 10 years that would cease operation because they're going to be taking the water from a different source. So I don't understand why that is, but it is.
And how long ago is this now?
We are looking at about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe.
So you're looking at another change of source fairly...
Within the next few years, yeah. And because it's further away and because, the power that's going to take that amount of water to pump through, the water pressure is going to be that bit worse as well, I suppose. And I just don't understand it. All they ever needed was to put a UV filtration unit on the site. Everything else was working okay. We explained and we had experts come in and speak with the public at meetings and stuff like that. A mobile filtration unit, a UV filtration unit, like a kind of a container, would have done the job. But anyone who was making those units were supplying them to Irish Water, so nobody would independently come and
verify it.
verify it. But all the information was out there. But that's all that water treatment plant needed, was a UV filtration system, because cryptosporidium can only be killed through all of its life cycle by UV filtration.
And is there a UV filtration on the new one?
They say there is. I haven't been up to it.
Because it seems a strange thing to build an entirely new unit when you only need one component.
Yeah.
Do you know? You're into the realms now of money, as the man
There you
says.
go.
Right, so that's the water. So where do you get it, Kelly? Because going by that...
We go to Glencar.
Yeah.
And we go down to the John McSharry, and we still get our water from Glencar
Spring
Water.
well.
It's live water, no chemicals added. It goes through UV filtration. It kills the parasites, but there's no chemicals added. And that's all we use for all my cooking, all our drinking, tea, whatever. We shower, we wash our clothes, and I wash the dishes, but I boil a pot of water and I rinse the dishes. I don't have a dishwasher every single time with that. But what I have noticed in about the last maybe 6 months, I use the exact same saucepan. That's its job. And what I have noticed is a brown wax on the inside of the pot.
Okay.
That never used to be there. So what I would suggest is that you put on a pot of water and you boil it and let it boil dry. And you will find a white powder at the bottom of your saucepan. And around the actual inside of the surface, it's like a brown wax. And if you repeatedly boil water in that pot, just try it and see what happens.
You would have found out all of this through the process of,
Yeah. I never went to college. I am not an educated person.
But
all of this information was readily available.
Now, can I hit you with this, because it often crosses my mind? Is there ever a stage where you go, God, if I hadn't found out some of this? Because it's so hard to avoid.
Especially when there is a solution.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why it never happened. There is one water treatment plant in Ireland that does not use the same process as everywhere else.
Where is it located?
It's in Drumshanbo.
Oh. My God.
Were you thinking Black Rock or something?
I was. I'll be honest, I'm kind of disappointed, Kelly. So
yeah.
I thought I was surely going to say South Dublin or something like that.
Yeah.
Kildare Street, perhaps.
I spoke with those people.
Yeah.
This facility, it looks after about 100 houses, okay? And the process was trialled in Brussels. It was also trialled in New York, in the high-rise apartments, okay? And it works on a very, very simple method that only needs updating every few years, okay? And it's bars of silver and bars of copper.
Now that's very interesting.
And they're laid at intervals along the pipeline.
Yes.
And they are enough to purify the water. And little computers along the way tell you what the levels of the water are.
Yes.
And that's all they use.
And now a word from our sponsors.
You're probably always wondering what these bottles are all about. I'll give you a wee heads up. Folks, what we're going to talk about now is beetroot. Now, I've based my bottles around beetroot, and the benefits of the beetroot is it boosts athletic performances, helps stroke prevention, and that's what it does, massively helps benefit the heart. It's a natural immune booster, Listen, I would love to put a health claim in the bottle and say natural immune booster. We're not allowed to. But the bottom line is, when by any 4 weeks, you're not a one bottle wonder bottle, you'll not do it overnight. So try it for 4 weeks. It'll cost you no more than about €48. What's not to like about that?
When the storm hits and the power goes out, you shouldn't be left stuck. The handcrafted Donnelly rocket stove gives you reliable cooking anywhere, anytime. Using just small bits of wood, it's efficient, eco-friendly, and built to last. Cook outdoors with confidence, whether it's for emergencies, camping, or everyday use. Order yours today at donnellystoves.com and use code CONWAYEXP for €10 off your order.
I've spoken to a fella who was on about a frequency filter, and he says it's something similar, but he mentioned one other mineral, so I won't give it away to him, but he's working on it. But
Well,
yeah,
you brought up about the EU standards and whatever for the water. This had to be tested. This was meant to be rolled out if it was successful.
mm-hmm.
And it was more than successful because it's still in use. They got the funding, they did the tests, but it was never rolled out.
Does this lead you? So again, the answer is frequency with that. So it is, everything is frequent. But do you know this kind of idea of jewellery and stuff like that? I can't help but think that's not accidental. You
No.
know, ancient people knew what to wear, where to wear it, what it was close to, what you brought close to such an area, do you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you had different gemstones on your head compared to around your heart and stuff like that. Are you thinking there's more to that kind of thing since you found out all of this?
Well, I also make jewellery.
Yes.
And I have done for the Pope was an altar boy. That's how long ago.
Nice little segue. Nice little segue there now. Very good, very good.
I wear copper every single day. I never ever take these off. My earrings with gemstones. I've learned through the years, because I've been very interested in it, what different gemstones do. Some people believe in it, some people don't.
Mhm.
Everybody's entitled to their own. But I have my own beliefs, and it does work. And it works for me, and it works for many other people.
What do you find the benefits are?
Well, most people would think that wearing copper is for pain relief.
Yeah.
And if you look back, you would have had a grandfather or an uncle or a workman generally
Yeah, the bangle.
with the green band, and his arm was black or green,
Yep.
right? You're not having a reaction. It's not cheap metal. You go black or green because it's pulling the toxins from your system.
Okay.
So that's how you know it's working. Okay? Days that you would be in pain, days that your mood would be low, or you are just deficient in something, or you may even just have something like a hangover, you will go green. It washes off, and then within a day or two, it levels up again. By wearing it, it's like taking a supplement. It never runs out, and your body takes what it needs. And that's how copper works. It works on your brain, because it keeps your brain level. Again, we go back to growing your vegetables. Years ago, when people grew their vegetables in the soil, they dug them up and they were getting the nutrients from the soil.
Yeah, the minerals.
So you were
Yeah.
getting your potassium, magnesium, copper, all of those little micronutrients that are essential for brain function.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't eating an ultra-processed food, so you were getting those minerals directly into your system.
Yeah.
It worked.
Do you have any belief? Now, this is only speculation, but you know, a lot of the older books talk about people who had far longer lifespans and stuff like that. Do you
Yeah.
think there's anything to that?
Well, they had a cleaner life.
Yes.
You know, they didn't have processed, they didn't use seed oils. You know, they would have cooked with tallow.
Yes.
They would have cooked with lard. I do. I render my own tallow. I cook with that. I rarely use bottles of processed oils, seed oils, because they're covered in sprays when they're grown,
Yes.
all the crops. Again, you don't know, does it make your engine in your car run or does it clog your arteries? Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, the research isn't out there for 100 years yet. You know? People years ago had a much cleaner life. Okay?
Yes.
But the other side of it is they didn't have medical intervention like they do now.
Yes.
So it's kind of like the balance. You can't say, oh yes, people lived longer. Not necessarily. Some people died very, very young because they could have done with medical intervention.
Yes.
But lifestyle, people lived longer from that.
The trouble that I see with it, and I think a lot of people are getting their head around this, is you have medical industries that are very profitable if people are sick.
Yes.
And unfortunately, when you go and do a bit of digging, you begin to see that the food...
Well, the
and
food industry makes you sick.
Well, they all work in tandem.
They're all the one.
Yes, and the ownership was the point I'm getting
Yes.
to. If you dig and dig and dig, you
Yeah.
go, well, why does one company feed you breakfast and also has a tablet company in a different...
There you go.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
concern with it,
Yeah.
do you know?
I mean, it's all very easy to say big pharma, big pharma. Yes, it is big pharma. But what people don't connect is that when you go to the supermarket and do your weekly shop and your kids are getting, can I have that cereal or can I have that bar or whatever? It starts at that age.
Yes.
Eating habits are formed at a very young age. And you're back again to the whole convenience of opening a packet. People didn't have that years ago, and they were much more active.
Yes.
They weren't sitting on phones, and kids weren't reared on PlayStations. They were on the streets playing.
Yes.
Do you know, so it's hand in hand. Lifestyle.
Yeah, they're calling that now a sedentary lifestyle, and I think there's a lot to that.
Of course there is.
And even, do you know, we're not using our brain in the same way as we used to. So I remember, do you remember Battle Shop, Darren? Do you remember Battle Shop?
Yeah, indeed, down under more.
Yeah, and I remember it was early 2000s, I'd say, and the power went out. But Battle stayed open because there was a brilliant woman who just took out her notebook, had everything priced, and added it up and took it away and kept her till going. Whereas the shop down the road had to stop.
Rogers used to be like that as well, apparently.
That's right, yeah.
But you go to a shop now, okay? And if you use cash, which is rare,
Yes.
and you hand over even the exact money.
They don't know.
I'm not trying to generalize
No,
young
you're right.
people
I've
because
seen it.
they're not all the same. But they look at it and go, like, they just can't figure it out, even if you give the exact money.
Yeah. Well, this new till was a response to that, I think, because they're on about it's the security element.
Yeah.
I don't think so,
No.
because cash is not that
Yeah.
commonly used anymore.
Look, them tills are like, they took the kind of, the ability to add and subtract away from people. And just like the spell check has took the
Yes.
spelling ability of people, you
Yeah.
know, and
Text
that kind,
talk.
text talk, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. It's all about just bringing it back, you know, lowering people's kind of.
But you're
ability.
ending up with a population, and it's a terrible thing to say, but it is true. There's no common sense at all.
Common sense isn't so common.
No, but there's no practical sense either.
No.
Like, I won't criticise anyone, but I seen a gentleman planting spuds, and he had came for, to learn it and all that, and he left the bucket at the end of the ridge, and he'd take his 2 spuds, and he'd walk down here, and he'd walk back to the bucket, and walk down again, and I just went, have you contemplated bringing the bucket with you? And it was just, do you know?
Light bulb moment.
Yeah. We're going to get into the cures now, because you're after giving me a cure. I have a slight kidney infection. It's gin.
Gin.
Yes. How
A
much
teaspoon
gin?
or a
teaspoon,
tablespoon.
not
It
a bottle.
depends on how much you can take.
No, I just
Now,
want
if
to
you
use
can
it.
take it straight,
Yeah.
it will burn,
Yes.
but it does work.
So I had Kelly. We found out about some of the toxins, definitely not all of them, but what can people do with regards to, we found out there's heavy metals, there's chemicals. There is a way of maybe cleansing some of this from your body. So what should people be doing with
there's lots of different thinking on detoxes. Everybody has their own thoughts on this. The best thing is not to drink tap water, first of all.
Yeah.
Try not to eat too many processed foods if you can help it. But there are various supplements. NAC, you can take activated charcoal is another good one. Some people are of the belief that the parasites that come from all of these things stay in your system and that you need to do a full detox to cleanse that. Some people say once a month. Some people say once every 6 months. Lots of garlic. They don't like garlic, parasites. There's lots of different. Some people really believe that the turpentine and sugar, which was what people used years ago, that's quite severe on your system. It's not accessible to everybody, and people are afraid of it, to be honest. So there's lots of different little things that you take. Cinnamon, take garlic, as I say, take ginger. Parasites don't like an alkaline system. So you've got to, remove some of the acidity in your system. Lemon in water, that's also very good.
Bread soda.
Mighty. Yeah, absolutely.
Into a glass and,
yeah. There's lots of little things that you can do. But if you feel that you have health issues that are undiagnosed or, non-specific symptoms that they'll say, chances are it's parasites that are somewhere in your system. And parasites can affect your brain.
Yes.
They can affect your digestive tract. They can affect, inflammation in your system. All of those things. Turmeric, that's a great one. But you have to take black pepper to activate the turmeric.
Okay.
Because it's not effective on its own. So you have to take black pepper with it to activate it. See, an awful lot of these herbs work in synergy with each other. So they may be effective on their own, but they're twice as effective. They're 2,000 times, they reckon, turmeric is with black pepper as opposed to without black pepper. So, you just, all the information is there. Google it.
I think a lot of people forget that you are a living being, and when you're close to farming or that, it's the pH of the soil, it's the organic matter you put into it, and that's what brings the crop on and that. Yeah. Like, a human body is not that different, it's your pH, it's your frequency, it's what you're feeding it.
Yeah. And what the clothes we wear, microplastics. Very few people now wear natural fibres anymore.
Yes.
The shoes we wear, especially when you see kids in these little jelly shoes and the flip-flops, they're plastic.
Yeah.
And you see them in their bare feet. The biggest pores on your body are on the soles of your feet. So the plastics are going straight into their system.
The onions in the socks, I find a fantastic job, and I'd recommend anyone to try it. If you're even getting fluey in the winter time, straight on.
But just a cut onion in the corner of the room will attract the bacteria.
Yes, but that was very common years ago. And
it's
been a while since I've seen it in any place.
I remember, all the painters used to do that.
That's right.
To take it
Yeah.
Why? I can understand the convenience part, Kelly.
Yeah.
Why a lot of stuff changed for convenience. Why did we abandon an awful lot of stuff that was health related? What's inconvenient about cutting an onion and putting it on the windowsill? There's nothing inconvenient about that.
It's that people don't know.
All that information is dialed with the old people.
You would have
garlic in
exactly
the shoes, and that kind of stuff.
You would have seen your grandparents, or you would have heard, back in my day, but you don't hear that type of stuff anymore.
Yeah,
younger generations may not even have grandparents anymore.
Yes,
let alone hear their stories.
Or if they do, they see them for a half hour on a Sunday.
Yeah, and they're looking at their phone while they're there. Sit down and be quiet.
Yeah. Not just a generalisation now. Yeah.
That's an interesting point as well, though. Do you know when people has children later in life? Well, naturally enough, the less time you're going to get with a grandparent because they're going to be a bigger age when that kid arrives. Do you know?
Yeah. But it's essential to a child's development. The multi-generational influence.
Yes.
And to see the dynamics of a family, that is essential for a child's development.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know?
And that's the point Darren made a lot was, do you remember when people are on about, I'm stuck here in the house with mum and dad? And you just made the point, well, actually, that was quite common one time and there was a lot of benefits to it. Do you know?
Yeah. Like again, I think, and the respect levels for the older generation, I think the likes of TV and stuff over a long number of years has really just made the old people look silly and seem stupid and not with it.
Yeah.
And all of that kind of happened back in the 70s and 80s. So like all of these old cures, would you not just go to the doctor? You know, and I remember,
Yeah.
sure, I was nearly, I'm on 8 tablets. Well, I'm on 12.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I
always,
rattle, I take that many.
you know.
Yeah.
So it's a slow game
Yeah.
of manipulation.
And for every tablet that they get, they have to get 2 more to counteract the side effects.
Yeah. That's a massive thing you're after saying, though, Kelly, the side effects. Do you know, was it June and the other girl?
They're all effects.
Yes, but do you remember she was saying someone goes with anxiety and then they put them on a tablet and it affects their weight and then they're on the depression tablet, you know?
Yeah.
It's one thing leading to another all the time.
Yeah.
And you never get, well, have you tried having a health weekend
Yeah.
and maybe figuring things out?
There's one of the biggest misconceptions of all, cholesterol.
Yes.
Cholesterol is a fat that is essential in your brain. Okay? There's good and bad cholesterol, as they say.
Mhm.
But cholesterol essentially is a fat that is in your brain. Okay? At certain stages of our life, our levels change. It may be a lady going through menopause.
Mhm.
Your levels, your hormones, everything changes. Okay? Generally, you start getting bombarded, if you notice, with ads on the TV and radio. Have you had your bowel screen? Have you had your breast check? Have you had your cervix checked? Have you had your HPV virus thing? Right? All of those little seeds are in there. And especially on daytime TV, all of those advertisements are targeted, especially at age groups that are immobile and watch daytime TV. And it is doom and gloom.
Do you believe in manifestation?
Yes.
I do. And I think stress is related to an awful lot of illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
I can see what you're saying there with the targeted. It's nearly a trigger.
It's
So it is.
brainwashing them.
Yeah.
And it is desensitizing people since the injections, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is desensitizing people now, right, on all these ad campaigns for HIV, for shingles, right? Because they're promoting vaccines, for
Mm-hmm.
want of a better word, for all of these new side effects that people are having.
Yeah.
Turbo cancers.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay? But back to cholesterol. You go to a doctor's checkup because you're told that's the thing to do, to get your screening done. And 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you, oh, cholesterol's a little bit high there now. We're going to put you on a tablet. A statin, it's called.
Yes.
Okay?
I've.
Right.
What are these? Because I've heard a lot of people
Okay.
talking about them.
Statins, from my limited knowledge, are to regulate your cholesterol levels. Okay? But the major side effect over time, through all statins, which you never ever come off, they just increase the dose, is Alzheimer's and dementia. It's recognized. All the research is there. So I guarantee that you know how many people now who say, oh, my cholesterol is high,
Yeah.
was put on a statin. It's a generic one that they put everybody on, no matter what it is.
So if you've heard someone, because usually the thing they say is, I ought to put me on a tablet. It's a statin.
It's a statin, more than likely.
Right.
And they change the numbers as well, don't they?
And they change the names of them.
Yeah, yeah. So like if your cholesterol was years ago, if it was at such a number, it was considered high, but now they just kind of keep bringing these numbers
Yeah.
down, you
Yeah.
know, or up.
That's
or
it.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the numbers go up and down.
But without cholesterol, our brains don't work.
Yes.
Cholesterol is essential in your body.
So they put you on a tablet that cuts out an essential element to your brain, and then people end up with Alzheimer's, and nobody's making the connection and saying, "Oh, by the
People
way,
are making the connection.
Well, there you are. Why? Well,
Because
it
you
boils down to
trust
money.
your doctor.
No, I don't.
No, but if you trust your doctor,
Yes.
okay, if you were off a generation that you came from an era where, oh, I have a pain in my elbow, I'll go to the doctor. The doctor will tell me what to do. You believe what the doctor tells you is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So if the doctor gives you a tablet that's going to make your elbow feel better, you're going to take it.
Yeah.
Because the doctor has been to college. The doctor has been qualified. The doctor knows best. But while you've been sitting in the waiting room for the doctor, have you noticed the 3 reps with their suitcases sitting in the doctor's room selling these drugs for sore elbows to the doctor?
I heard a comedian saying that, and I thought it was brilliant. Do you know NASCAR in America? And they have to wear all the sponsors on their overalls. He says if doctors were required to do that when you went into the office, you seen every badge.
Sponsored by. Yeah.
He says that would solve an awful lot of this. And I thought, there's actually something to that. So
well, have a look. Because when you look at their notepad and when you look at their pens.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pens, there's notepads all across the table, different pharma companies. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. You had an experience yourself, a close person to you.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. Well, it's been a journey. And we are out the other side of it, thank God. But 7 years ago, a family member, by accident, discovered that they had a tumour the size of an orange in their tummy, not attached to anything. We went through the same fear and anxiety as everybody else who's told that they have a tumour, had all the tests done, had all the appointments, and we were confused, but we were also a little bit more awake than other people even back then, because we had had a previous experience with vaccines, and our child, our son, when he was a baby, he had a very adverse reaction when he was a baby to his vaccines.
Okay.
And that started me reading. I'll not say researching, reading.
Yeah.
And reading other people's stories from all over the world and beginning to put pieces of the jigsaw together. And everybody can make their own informed choices. The information is readily available. If I can read it, other people can read it. But you need to be able to make an informed decision, first of all. And you need to be able to make a decision not based on fear, but because it's the right thing for you and your family.
Yeah.
And that's not always an option, because when you have a baby and your hormones are all over the place, and your head is all over the place, and you were told that this is essential, you have to do this for the benefit and the health of your child.
Yes. And your motherly instinct kicks in. You say, I have to do that.
And if you say no, then you're immediately seen as an issue and as a problem.
Yeah.
And it can be very isolating for the mother.
Yeah.
To almost be ostracized by the medical community.
Not just the medical community, I'll tell you.
Family members. Yes,
and
I agree.
A lot of the school community and stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, our boy was very, very sick. And he actually was used as a test case. A pediatrician came out of retirement and saw our son on his 13th, maybe 14th time in hospital over a short period of time, because At this stage, the doctors were saying I was the issue.
Okay.
I was psychotic. My partner was told, hide the sharp objects. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was nothing wrong with me. I knew there was something wrong with our son. And the physical symptoms were becoming much more scary because he was very, very sick. And the doctors were not believing us.
What
every
age was he
time.
at that stage?
So he would have been about the 4-month mark when this really started.
Yeah. So you got to know him beforehand, and you
Absolutely.
knew. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the morning after the first instance, you've heard of a changeling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would have sworn that our baby was swapped
Yeah.
because he just looked different.
Yeah.
He was different. And for the following 8 months, it was torture.
Yeah.
He never slept for more than 20 minutes at a time. He was covered in a rash. He developed eczema. He had horrendous diarrhea and vomiting. Only that I was breastfeeding, and that's what kept him alive, because I couldn't get him to eat anything or take anything at all. He would be sound asleep when he would eventually fall asleep, and with no whimpering, he would just wake up with a scream. And you could hold his feet, and his body was rigid. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
And he had continuous temperatures, and like, we were in and out of hospital, as I say, so many times. They convinced us that it wasn't as a result from the vaccines. And we got the second lot. It was the 5-in-1 at the time. And that was when the real damage really started. And as I said, then it was 8 months. And they could not tell us, they could not give us any guarantees that our son would come out of it. They couldn't tell us if he'd have any brain damage or learning disabilities, or if he would have autism or anything else.
Yeah.
Thankfully, none of that happened because we detoxed him, which was unheard of 21 years ago because there was no information around back then.
I have a similar, and then we'll move on to the detox thing, but you know, Celia May had her issues or that, but it's a piece of technology that wouldn't have been around when you were going through this. It was Snapchat.
Okay.
And there's a thing on it called memories or that.
Okay.
To this day, me and Russian look back at it and we can tell pre and post. You can. It's
so it happened
clear.
to you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now, when she was born, there was issues from the birth.
Okay.
So they both nearly died in the birth.
Okay.
But the issues, she was cooing, she was can, she was just on the brink of a few words and all that, and then nothing. No following you around the room. No talk.
You see it in their eyes.
Yes. Yeah. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And it's
and
so
then you
blatant.
feel responsible.
Yes.
Because you've administered this.
Yes. Yeah. We were moving into it with we knew something was up, but it was not to the extent. It's so easy to see because you look at those videos, she's following you, she's cooing, she's can, and then it's just, it's like a little soul has left. Now, what's the name of it? Lion's Mane.
The lion's mane mushroom.
Yeah.
Lion's Mane,
Very good.
We're back on that now, and she's talking, and she's starting to follow you, and all of this, and it's brilliant. But I'm with you, so I want to talk about the detox because that's really interesting for any parents that are listening or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, as I say, I am not medically trained. I am not qualified in anything. This is from just personal experience.
Yeah.
I would absolutely recommend you read every bit of information you can find. The answers are there. Everything that you need to know is readily available on the internet. You just have to ask the correct questions. And
That's
the
getting
language,
more and more difficult, though.
but the language you use when you're searching anything alternative, as they like to say, you have to use different language.
Yeah, I've spent a long time now searching, and I'm finding over the last number of years that search engines are changing.
Tell them about the Amazon thing, Darren, because that really triggered with me. You were the first one to mention it to me at the establishment of Amazon as a book, as a book platform.
Oh, the way they kind of bought up all the books
Yes.
and that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So you had all these bookshops, and the older bookshops and that, and they're buying up the books, and now all of a sudden you can't get a hard copy of. Do you know?
Yeah. Like you did quite well to research what you researched 20 odd years ago. Like, information was not available, especially if you lived in a small village. I mean, the library was the size of a shoebox. Do you know what I mean? Everything was slow. If you asked for a copy of something, it could take like 2 months before the library would have it.
If you got it at all.
If you got it,
Yeah.
So the advent of the internet and information was brilliant, and that for years you had it at your fingertips. But I'm telling you, the information that you used to be able to get through the likes of Google and all that kind of stuff, and they'll tell you, oh, what about DuckDuckGo? They're all the same. They're all the same, the information is being buried, absolutely,
and monitored.
And monitored, for sure. And I've often done natural kind of websites and stuff, and they'll be hounded with the wording on it. And if you says that aloe vera was a real benefit for such a thing, you'll be getting emails from all sorts of organizations giving you a cease or desist kind of thing and all that kind of stuff. So they've really hammered it. So yeah, well done.
Because even on the social media now, you have dedicated bots to discredit anyone who says anything herbal or that. Because I've noticed this. So I'd follow a lot of the, Blooms by Chloe, she'll put up this short, and I just noticed the same character every day.
Yeah.
And I was like, so you go from one platform to another where people are telling you about natural remedies and discredit it.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Yeah.
Do you know? There's no way you're doing that as a hobby. I wouldn't anyways.
And see, even YouTube now, just like the COVID information bar underneath the video that might have mentioned it, now they're doing it with everything, and directing it to Wikipedia and that kind of thing. But I think if we find out just about your
own
detox,
personal one,
and then what we'll do is we might move to the Patreon then and continue this story, because again, it's not,
Yeah,
no, tell us about the detox and what you used.
Well, I mean, really, like, it's so long ago, to be honest, but because I was breastfeeding him, I had to continue that. So therefore, I had to be very careful about my own diet. I know that for the eczema, I didn't use any of the steroid-based creams that were prescribed for him. I used porridge.
Yes.
I used to bathe them in porridge. Because there's an active ingredient in the porridge that the enzyme eats any kind of like parasite on your skin. So if you have psoriasis or eczema, bathe in porridge.
Yeah,
it's
I've
the
heard
milk,
that.
The milk that comes off it. It's not milk.
Yeah.
The water goes milky. But if you are doing that and you're sitting in a bath, please use a strainer over the plug. I found out the hard way.
I was just going to say, that sounds like someone that learned the hard way.
Some man was doing pipe work by the sounds of it. So, very good.
You can get soaps and bits and pieces now made with oatmeal as well.
Yeah.
Things like that. I would have. I'm trying to think because obviously he was a baby. You had to be very careful what you gave him. And there wouldn't have been the information available, like you said. So it really would have just been a process of kind of just, letting it run out of his system, to be honest.
Yeah.
We would have, just, it was me more than him that would have kind of had the detox, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's one of those, I think, the breastfeeding is a massive thing, but like they'll come down on you like a ton of bricks about cigarettes and stuff like that, but they don't tell you about all of the other toxins you
Yeah.
might be consuming in the
Yeah.
day, you know, especially with food and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Kelly, it's been a pleasure talking to you. As Darren says, we're going to move to the Patreon. Hi guys, we've just finished the Patreon there and we've been introduced to some absolutely magnificent products and yeah, mind-blowing stuff altogether. So we're going to kick to Kelly because she didn't advertise herself in the YouTube part at all, but ye definitely need to get in touch with her. So Kelly, how do people get in touch with you?
Okay, so as I said at the beginning, I am not a herbalist. I am not qualified. I am not given medical information to anybody. This is just something that I have found through the years that I've worked and through friends and filtered out through various groups. People buy ointments and bits and pieces that I make from me. So you can contact me on, I have a Facebook page that I'm about to reactivate. I've been a bit busy over the last couple of years, but I am going back into it very, very shortly.
And we do touch on why in the Patreon as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
It's called The Good Stuff. So SHTUFF.
Go on, Schleicher.
Go on, Schleicher. The Good Stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so feel free to reach out to me on that. It's only Facebook. I haven't got Instagram on that one yet. And I try to kind of share everyday tips and health benefits that everybody can do. Store cupboard ingredients, things that you can take to improve your overall health. But you can message me to buy the bits and pieces that I make as well. Okay?
Brilliant. We'll add that to the description below as well. So thank you, everyone. See you on Patreon.